Well, hi guys. As you can see, this is my TEDx speech topic, life answer. A little bit way too heavy, right? You want success and all the good things in the world, but that's impossible. That's my teacher Belinda said this to me one hot summer afternoon in her office. I was standing in front of her desk, and I remember it was covered with photos of her students and gifts from graduates. As her words came, my heart dropped, and tears began to fall before I could even stop them. Well, for a 14-year-old, it was hard to understand how future could sound such hopeless. Confucius once said, 朝闻道，夕死可矣. Well, in English it means, if a man hears away in the morning, he may die in the evening without regret. For me, I didn't need the certainty about the future. At that time, I was only struggling about my own ability, confused and restless. What I needed is a clear answer. What exactly is the limit I could reach? If I know that, maybe I could avoid the pain of chasing dreams that were always just out of reach. It seems to be human instinct to believe that each of us is uniquely gifted, and we're told that we're destined to do something great, maybe changing the world in some way. A few weeks later, I took a math placement test for the advanced track, where students could study high school or even the university material level in junior high. Well, I'm a person really bad at math, and I also struggle about math. But against all expectations, I scored higher than I ever had before. And when I told my parents about it, I could sense their delight. Well, funnily, just 2 weeks after I joined the advanced track, I was gently asked to leave. My teacher suggested that you should take another year to prepare and practice before joining again. Yeah, and to be honest, I was sad to a degree, but also relieved, right? And that day marks the last time I ever walked into any after-school math class. Well, that was 14-year-old me, one of my many failures. And, well, I thought if I could just get an answer about my future, about my limits, about whether I was destined for greatness or not, I could stop worrying. But life didn't give me that answer at that time. And now, as 18 gets closer, you know guys, 18 is a year and age that has been described as the best time, a perfect turning point in our life, right? A lot of people become Spider-Man or like become Harry Potter in this period. Well, so actually, I realized that life never gives me that answer. You know what? Erik Erikson was right. Adolescence, from 12 to 18 years old, is a time that we're just struggling about our own identity and roles. We experiment with social roles, self-reflection, and peer influence. And we are eager to discover who I am. We may suffer from role confusion if we are restricted or under too much pressure, unsure about our place in the world, our values, goals, and future direction. Just like what we experienced when deciding our college major, or thinking about, is it like Harvard or Yale I'm going to hesitate, right? So why do so many of us have expectations so high that they hurt us when we try to reach them? Is self-actualization supposed to feel this heavy? Well, I mean, it is. We're supposed to be quite natural, because all of the stories we heard when we were young are about like Harry Potter, Isaac Newton, and Marie Curie, those great people. And no one actually tells us about stories like how a less successful people live a wandering life between dreams and reality. Also, to face weakness and inability, and to avoid a fatal leap into nothingness, we develop our ideal selves to fight against with our absurd, wild life, to make everything meaningful. Well, luckily, we're not alone in this confusion. Psychologists are also as confused and intrigued as we are. The humanist psychologist Carl Rogers, the self-concept is the image we have of ourselves. Basically, the answer to who am I? He believed that self-concept is made up by three distinct parts: ideal self, self-image, and self-esteem. Well, self-image, the ideal self is a person you wish to be, like someone who conveys Virginia Woolf's flow of thoughts with Kafka's deep pain to write something truly badass. And self-image is how you currently view yourself or see yourself. Well, for example, a person or a student who uses 10 minutes to open the laptop, types the title, and then stare at the screen for the next 45 minutes. Procrastination, huh? And self-esteem is how you actually like or value that version of yourself. Well, I could explain or say that, at least I opened my laptop and started typing, so everything is not that bad, right? When this three match, life feels good. That's called congruence. But if there's a gap, say you dream of having 10,000 friends, but cannot say a single word in front of your classmates, that's called incongruence, and it can hit your self-esteem pretty hard. Rogers also believed that all of this starts way back in childhood. Your parents support you no matter what, like when you draw a random house, they cheer you instead of saying, why is it so ugly? And then your self-concept is congruent. But if your love feels conditional, like, sorry darling, we only love you if you get A's, then your self-concept gets distorted. That's why unconditional support, even from yourself, is crucial. It's not about being perfect, it's about still believing in that little helpless kid, even before they keep living you. And the search for identity, it's normal for all of us. It's not a failure or a sign of being out of control. It's a necessary adventure of growing up, just like you need to crawl before any further actions. It's not only for muscle practice and balance, but also to establish the future meaning of walking and running. Back then, I saw myself as a confused kid, writing nonsense on math and physics assignments. And my ideal self is a genius, a world changer, maybe even the chosen one. And the space in between, I named it pain. It was only after I entered high school that I recognized that those moments were me chasing the fantastic version of me. And the pain was a gift I gave myself, encouraging me to explore, forcing me to move forward, dragging me to fall and rise again, to experience the big, fascinating, cruel, weird world. On the laptop. So I think if I ever had a chance to meet someone who stood in the empty teacher's office crying, just like me before, I would squat down, hold her hand, and tell her, keep going, stay confused, keep that ridiculous and fearless passion. And someday, maybe not success or perfection, life itself will come knocking. Maybe still a little bit messy, but it's yours. And this is my TEDx speech. My name is Soleil Zhou from Class Jackson, currently a senior. Thank you, everyone.